Ooh, rim day. Well, new to me anyways. Well, I'm going to try to get the rest of the stuff off the frame. I got the aluminum diamond tread there that I'm going to pick off and then the fifth wheel off so we can make some room for the sandblasters. I still don't know what I'm going to do with all the wires and hoses and all this stuff. It's going to make it hard for them to get in there to sandblast. So I might just, I don't know, I'm going to talk to them, see what they say. Maybe just have them kind of work around that stuff, and I can just kind of try to get in there and scuff the paint up as best as possible and just paint around it, I guess. But other than that, everything else back here, all the lines and everything, other than the wiring, can all be really, they don't really have to take care of, because I'm going to replace all the air lines and everything back here anyways. Yeah, I haven't been able to get my airbags up, and I'm wondering if this valve is bad. I might try to get the truck cranked up today and try to operate that just to get some air in the airbags. The airbags have been, they haven't aired up yet. It might not have all, and just, you know, just because the fact that the suspension hasn't been pushed down might be the fact that it hasn't aired up either. But I'm assuming there's probably something bound up or wrong in there. But sure makes a lot more room once you get that coolant heater out of there and that fuel heater out of there. Yeah, so we're gonna kind of crank away at it today. I took the support off for the exhaust that ran down to this side of the frame here, wherever that is, you know, here. I took that off because I'm gonna end up taking this support off anyways, and I'm going to be putting dual exhaust on it. And the dual exhaust is going to be attached to a headache rack that's going to be mounted up back here. So I'm hoping that the truck will, I don't know if I'm going to drive it or haul it to the sandblaster, but I'm hoping that this bracket will be able to support the exhaust during the trip. And the reason I say that is because had some very artistic welding done to this at some point. Obviously, they had their welding helmet set way too dark, or Stevie Wonder did it, because it's very, very interesting weld job on that. So I especially like the angle iron support on it. I think that right there probably supports the whole system and adds some severe legitimacy to it. So yeah, that's where we're gonna go. So let's get this stuff torn off. Keeps grabbing my sweatshirt, and start taking off whatever doesn't need to be. Also, I noticed that after they had stretched the frame, I kind of want to get in to see where the joint is. I'm surprised I can't see it, but I'm assuming it's under here that they stretched it. But when they put the torque arm in, they bolted the frame, and I noticed that it busted out the frame here at some point. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what did that, if it was a suspension issue or something's hit it or what. But they never welded up the inside. It's still cracked on the inside here. So I'm probably going to take that torque arm off and the bracket, and I'm going to try to weld it up and grind it smooth on the inside and grind it smooth out here on the outside. I think I might add a plate here on the outside, just weld around, put some plug welds in it too, just to make sure that it adds a little more rigidity to it. Once it gets bolted in with a plate on the outside, that should make it plenty strong. So, but yeah, I think the same guy that welded the exhaust might have done the welding back here too. Plenty of grinding done on it. So you ever notice that nobody ever advertises for grinders? They always advertise for welders in the help wanted ads. There's a reason for that. So if you can't weld, stay away from truck frames and anything that really needs it. So, or take a night class and try to learn to weld. I just totally jinxed myself on that when I said that too, because now at some point I'm going to do a video where I'm welding and I'm going to do a horrible job, and people are going to come back and tell me to stop welding because I don't know how to weld. Well, I ran into a little problem. The bolts that are holding down the fifth wheel plate are seized in there pretty good. Obviously, that doesn't surprise me any. I was able to break loose pretty much all of them with 3/4 inch impact, except for the ones that are behind the wheels here. So I figured I'd just pull the wheels off and get at them with that impact. I can't get back there with the hammer. I can't get enough stroke to pound them out or loosen them up. So I figured I'd pull the wheels off. Well, I have a bud socket. The problem is the studs on the insides are so short that the bud socket won't engage it. So I either have to go find somebody with a new bud socket, like a buddy or something like that, or I gotta sit and trim a little bit of this one down so I can try to get at that. I don't really want to do that, but if I have to, that's what I'll end up doing. I'll probably just try to take the chop saw after this one and take about 1/4 inch off of it. So we'll see what happens. Well, I think for the sake of time and for future stuff, I think I'm just going to take that socket, if I can find it now, set it down somewhere, and I don't even know where I set it. I think I'm going to take that socket and I'm going to trim it down with the chop saw, take about 1/4 inch off of it, and that should probably, there it is, sitting right on the chop saw. So I'm going to take 1/4 inch off of it and see where we can go from there. So yeah. Well, let's see if it fits here. So outstanding. So should get us through the day anyways. Probably order the right part or order the right tool here coming up. So employees only. Still waiting for that paycheck. Well, back to it. Well, my socket that I had to modify here started giving me fits, and I had to, sorry about that, started rounding off nuts or rounding off the square holes. So had to make a trip into rusty trusty Harbor Freight, only place open on a Sunday, that had the 3/4 inch drive bud socket that I need. However, they only had a metric set, which still had the bud square socket, but now I'm stuck with a bunch of deep well metric sockets that I don't know if I'll ever use, but we'll see. So I'm gonna get these, get this other wheel off. If you notice, I think they really, I don't know if the wheel's worn out or if they really reefed on those, or if maybe the lugs, these studs are worn out, but they're in there a lot deeper than the other side was, it appears. But there's still a lot of shoulder in there to hold and everything like that, so I'm not too concerned. So we'll get them all off here. Finally get this fifth wheel plate off. So I got 3 studs that are being bears here that won't come off. This one's almost getting to the point where it might be too rounded that I might even just replace it. So, will that work anymore or what? Left-handed can't do it. Well, anyways, I'm going to torch. I'm going to heat them up a little bit with torch and see how that works. Well, I heated and I should have let cool a little bit, but I actually just twisted the top right off that stud. So I'm going to try to figure out what I'm going to do here. I think I'm probably going to try to weld a big nut on there and try to get it off that way. Well, I got a nut welded on there. So here's everybody's chance to make fun of my welding now that I was bad-mouthing other people. So I'm going to try to hopefully get that off of there. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, I might end up having to replace some studs. Sorry for the camera work on that. Success. Didn't hurt the stud a bit. Oh boy, what a lot of work for that. Anti-seize is our friend. Let's keep the next guy from having to deal with the stuff I just dealt with on the other side. Okay, got this wheel all switched out, put one of the nicer tires on the outside. I set it on the, put it on the outside of the drum, turn the wheel out, so the sandblast guys can come in here and have all the room that they need to go in and spray, or to sandblast, I mean. So I'm going to flip this wheel around as well and do the same to the other side, and then I'll come in with skid steer and pull the fifth wheel plate off, and I'll be done for the night. Something I didn't go over earlier, if you're not really familiar with Bud wheels, or even some of like, even when they weren't Buds, well actually they were Buds actually, I'm thinking of older Ford trucks and stuff like that, but they had Bud wheels. A lot of times on the driver's side, what they'll do is they'll put threads that are reverse on there. It helps to, the theory is that they weren't going to come loose, but the threads on the driver's side will actually, they aren't righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, they're backwards. I'm not even trying to figure out what to say. So you actually turn them backwards, turn them to the right, and they'll come off on the driver's side of these trucks. So what happens is, in the drums, on Bud wheels, they'll have a main stud that comes out of the brake hub like this, and then what you'll do is you'll put the inside dual on, and you'll tighten it down with this stud, which has a tapered end, just kind of like a lug nut and everything like that. So what you'll do is you'll tighten that down, tighten that up, you'll put the other wheel, the next wheel, over the top of this stud, and you'll tighten that up with another nut, with a kind of a thin-walled nut that'll come down, and it'll tighten the wheel up right to this stud as well. So that's how stud pilot or Bud wheels, B-U-D-D, Bud wheels, work. Other trucks are called hub pilot wheels. What they'll do is they'll just have one main stud that comes out here, and then this flange that's around the axle here will be built up enough to, and the tolerances will be tight enough that the inside of the rim will actually seat up, and it'll index itself on the hub itself, and that will center the wheel on the hub instead of using the studs to center the wheel. These with the tapered edge will actually suck the wheel into a position and will center the wheels with the tapered edges, and the tapered edges on the inside of the rim here. So that's the difference between Bud wheels or stud pilot wheels and hub pilot wheels. I'll show you some hub pilot wheels in a later episode too. I got some on my Sterling out there, so I'm going to get back to it and get this side swapped around, flipped around, the other side flipped around, and then we're going to pull the fifth wheel off and be done for the day. Well, we got the fifth wheel off. It was kind of pinched on there. It didn't really want to come off. I think my other camera died during the process, but we got it all off. Left a ton of room over here now for the mechanics and the sandblast guys. The mechanics to replace all the air lines, and the sandblast guys to get in there and get into all the little nooks and crannies and everything like that. I might pop off the shocks. I might try to take some of this stuff out. I'm not sure yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm probably going to coil up all the wiring, run that all back up to the engine so it doesn't get chewed up by the sandblaster. But there's plenty of room here now for the sandblast guys to get in here, to get all the frame and everything like that. So they should be able to get it pretty nice and smooth. And should be able to lay some nice paint on it. I'm going to see what they'll charge me to paint it. If not, I'll just end up spraying it here, probably out in the yard once it gets a little warmer. So got the air cleaner here. I think I talked about in another video. I think I'm going to pop that air cleaner off, and I'm going to try to find a 379 air cleaner, a nice chrome one, and put on there in the place of that. But yeah, other than that, they got really good access to sandblast frame over on this side. other side got all the wiring and all that stuff. I'll get all this exhaust, and I'm still thinking about kicking around taking the tanks off for them too, because I might want to pop them off and get them polished somewhere. So yeah, there we are. Quick walk around. Well, that's it for this episode. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. I know some of the video is good, some of it's a little boring, but you know what? That's kind of part of working on something like this. Is not everything's all full of action and everything. So I appreciate you tuning in. Let me know if you got any thoughts or suggestions or anything like that. I'm completely open to hearing what you got to say. God, I'm all dirty. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let your friends know about the channel. Share the hell out of it. I'd really like to get some followers and try to get this out there. I like hearing from people. I really enjoy hearing what people have to say. Not everybody has been super positive, but most people have. So I really appreciate all the comments. I'll even take the critical comments. If I'm doing something wrong or if I can do something better with the channel or the camera work or things like that, I'm trying to improve. I got a couple new cameras. I'm just trying to learn how to use them right now, so I'm going to get away from using my phone. Keep tuning in. I'm going to try to do some updates on the Peterbilt, and sometime down the road I'll probably start doing some videos on the Bronco and the Mustang too. So, like I said, hit subscribe, hit the like buttons, shoot me some comments, and I'll reply to you as best I can. So, thanks for your time.